Sketchbook drawing assignment number 8, sliced apple on a plate with a knife. So depending on how you position the knife onto the plate, I put it on so it's pretty much like 1-point perspective. So 1-point perspective, whatever comes closest towards you, just make that a little bit larger, right? And so that has to transition back in elongated trapezoid form. And a knife is a really good example of that shape moving back into space because it really does project onto the elongated trapezoid. So increase the thickness here on this part of the drawing, right? So you can see that right through here. So that makes that handle look like it's lifting and coming up. So pay attention to where it intersects on the curvature of the plate and then projects out beyond that point, and then that structure of light and shadow, depending on how you view that. So the intensity of that grounding shadow underneath there is really dark directly underneath the plate, and then you have a lighter transition working around this form here, light on top. So with this, I can come into here, since that's light on top, I can push that gray tone through here a little bit more. Like that. Now that plate looks like that's progressing and going back into space, and then directly underneath here, I can grab that reflected light quality coming off of that point, and then you have a strong dark grounding shadow directly underneath. So you have intense light, get a darker value change back in the light again. So you have that value change, intense dark, reflective light coming out of this point here, value change on top, coming out in front of this form here, especially where that light lifts up here. If you put a little bit more of a value change there, then it increases that quality of that reflective light coming out the tip of the form, just because they bordered that light with a value change as opposed to an intense dark onto the side here. So pay attention to the sliced wedges of these apple shapes, and just remember that directly underneath these forms here, that's where that intensity of that grounding shadow is going to be. So as I put that in here, and then I pull a little bit lighter coming off of the bottom, you get that reflective light off the apple here. You get a direct light coming down on top, and then reflective light off the bottom with the intensity of that grounding shadow holding that shape down close to that surface. Now this has more of a reflective light coming off of that side too. So that light here allows that form to now project forward, coming into here, and reflective light on that plate right there. Like so. So you got a lot of integration of light and shadow directly underneath these forms, so you got to pay attention whether that looks like a reflection going down into the plate, like at this point here. Right? Or if it is that reflective light source coming off the plate, or if it's the grounding shadow directly underneath the form as well. That's going to help you to distinguish between those shapes. Now, with the shadows coming underneath the apples, all these shapes are working on a curve, so those shadows are going to have a curved form to them in relationship to light, gray tone, or dark. So it's always following the curvature of the object. Here, the shadow directly underneath that knife follows the curvature of the plate, and I got some undulation and breaking on here because that's the reflective quality coming back onto that plate as well. And the cleaner ground coming off of there. All right, so there you go. I will continue on and keep doing drawings tonight. All right, thank you very much.